I was only 10 years old when my life shattered into pieces I could never glue back together. My name is Amanda Adams, and my story begins with a phone call that turned my sunny afternoon into an endless night. Hi and welcome here. This is a safe place for all the emotional, heartbreaking, betrayal, agony and motivational stories you can ever imagine. Feel free to subscribe to my channel as I uncover the truth and nothing but the truth. It was a Wednesday. My father, Dr. Adams, had been away in Australia for a medical conference. He was supposed to be back that evening. I had counted the days, imagining the moment I'd run into his arms at the airport. I even had a drawing ready to show him, a picture of me, him, and Mom smiling together. But instead of my father's voice calling out my name, we heard the landline ring. My mother, Winifred, answered. Her face changed. I had never seen such color drain from a person's cheeks so quickly. She didn't cry right away. She just stood there, frozen, clutching the phone like it was the only thing keeping her from collapsing. When she finally spoke, her voice trembled. There's been a crash. The plane from Australia to America, it went down. At first, I didn't understand. A crash? Maybe they just meant a delay, or maybe he'd be injured but alive. I didn't know how final the word dead could feel until a few hours later when more calls came, confirming that my father's body had been found among the wreckage. No amount of medical expertise from the doctors who rushed to the scene could save him. My mother, also a doctor, was powerless. Her training, her knowledge, none of it mattered against fate. The funeral was a blur of black clothes, muffled crying, and people saying, "He's in a better place." But I didn't want him in a better place, I wanted him here, with me. I remember gripping his photograph so tightly my knuckles turned white. Life after that became a shadow. Mom tried to be strong for me, but I could see the cracks. She would come home from the hospital late at night and sit in silence, staring at my father's chair. She smiled less, laughed never, and sometimes I'd catch her wiping tears she thought I wouldn't notice. Over the next 5 years, grief carved away at her. Her body weakened, and her once bright eyes lost their shine. She was diagnosed with a heart condition. The doctors said it was physical, but I knew it was her soul that was sick. One cold evening, when I was 15, she went to sleep and never woke up. I was left an orphan, standing in the same dark emptiness I had felt when my father died, only now it was doubled. The day we buried her, I didn't just lose my mother, I lost my home, my safety, and my sense of belonging. That was the day my life was handed over to the hands of a man I wish I had never known, my uncle. When I moved into my uncle's house, I thought, naively, that family would care for me. But what I met there was coldness, cruelty, and hunger. Uncle Charles was my father's older brother. His wife, Agnes, was a woman whose eyes were always narrowed in suspicion, as if I had arrived to steal something from her. They had 2 sons, both older than me, who treated me like an unwanted stray. The first morning I woke up there, I realized I was no longer a daughter, I was free labor. I was made to cook, clean, fetch water, and wash clothes, all before I could even think about eating. And when food came, it was the smallest portion, sometimes nothing at all. My cousins ate meat and rice, I got plain porridge. Clothes? I wore my mother's old dresses until they tore, and then I was given patched-up rags. School? That dream died quickly. Uncle Charles said, "We can't waste money on someone who isn't ours." I dropped out after my first term in high school, watching my friends in their neat uniforms walk past the gate each morning while I scrubbed floors. Loneliness became my closest companion. I missed my parents so much that sometimes I'd whisper to the night, asking if they could hear me. I wondered if life would ever get better or if I was destined to fade away in that house. Years passed like this. My spirit dimmed, but somewhere deep inside, a small flame refused to die. By the time I turned 20, that flame turned into a decision: I would run. I didn't know where, but anywhere had to be better than there. One rainy evening, I left without saying goodbye. I walked for hours, following the sound of the city, until I stumbled upon a large building with a sign that read, "Hope Orphanage Home." I hesitated at the gate, afraid they'd turn me away because of my age. But when I knocked, a kind-looking woman opened the door. She introduced herself as Miriam, the matron. When I told her my story, she pulled me inside, gave me warm food, and let me sleep in a bed that didn't smell of dust. For the first time in years, I felt safe. Life in the orphanage was nothing like my uncle's house. The children were cared for, and though resources were limited, there was love in abundance. Mr. Bull, the director, was a tall, gentle man who treated everyone like family. He and his wife, Miriam, saw something in me, maybe it was my determination, maybe my longing to belong, and after a few months, they made an announcement that changed my life forever. They wanted to adopt me. I cried the day the papers were signed. For the first time in a decade, I had parents again. With their support, I went back to school. It wasn't easy catching up, but I worked hard, fueled by the memory of everything I had lost. I excelled in my studies, got a scholarship for college, and graduated with honors. Life that had once been full of emptiness now overflowed with hope. After graduation, I got a job at a prestigious firm in America. It was there I met Michael, the son of a billionaire businessman. Unlike most people I had met, he wasn't arrogant. He listened when I spoke, and he admired my resilience. Our friendship turned into love, and 2 years later, we were married in a grand ceremony. I never invited my uncle to the wedding. But news travels fast. I heard from a distant cousin that when Uncle Charles and his wife saw my wedding pictures in the newspaper, they covered their faces in shame. People whispered about how they had mistreated me, how they had tried to crush me but failed. Sometimes I think about the little girl who lost her father in a plane crash, who cried herself to sleep in a cold room, who wondered if life was worth living. I want to tell her, hold on. The pain will not last forever. The world will hurt you, but it will also surprise you with kindness. I stand today not as a victim of my past, but as proof that even in the deepest agony, you can rise. My parents are gone, but their love lives in me. And for that, I will keep moving forward, always. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to subscribe for more stories like this.